Usually I only do these editorials every year or so because I don't really have that many topics to talk about at length that aren't about a specific video game. But with the recent news, it'd almost be weird to not talk about it, so I shelved my work, I scripted this out, and I guess I have to talk about it. Effective immediately as of August 31st, which is today, Volition, the developer of the Saints Row series, has been completely shut down by Embracer Group. There's a post in their LinkedIn and everything, it's official. This comes as kind of a shock. I had literally just seen a trailer for the DLC yesterday, and I had planned on talking about them in some sort of video, but that'll be the end of the series, at least as far as we know. Deep Silver still owns the rights, but Volition's been the company that has been making Saints Row games since the beginning. Everything was done by them, even Agents of Mayhem. And so for the entire studio to just disappear in a matter of hours out of the blue is something that I still can't really wrap my head around. If it was just that, I'd be sad and a little frustrated, but I wouldn't make a video about it. I'd hope for the best for the employees and just kind of move on with my day. Like, I got a PS3 video I'm working on, Mutant Mayhem comes out on streaming tomorrow. There's more things pertinent to me that I could be doing right now. But no, because people on the internet can't seem to have some sort of empathy when media they don't like gets involved. A lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, without even looking at any of the information that has been out there, blame the studio shuttering solely on the reboot. It has been a year and we are still talking about the discourse surrounding the Saints Row reboot. I'm never gonna escape it at this point. Personally, if you really have to know, I think that the Saints Row reboot is more standard and run-of-the-mill than it is offensively bad. But even if I didn't like it, even if I was in the camp that didn't like the game, the marketing, or anything revolving around it, there is no way that making a bad game somehow makes them worthy of losing their jobs. I don't even see why that's even a part of the discussion. This is clearly just a confirmation bias from people who just vehemently hate this game. Like, ignore the fact that Embracer Group had a $2 billion deal fall apart suddenly earlier this year. Ignore the fact that they shut down another developer, that being Campfire Cabal, who made a very, very successful game with Expeditions Rome. Just shut them down. Ignore the fact that they are literally doing the same thing with Gearbox Publishing as we speak. No, it's the game I don't like because SJW or whatever. Like, who needs facts when we have hot takes on games? No matter what they've done, it is always a shame to see a development studio be shut down. First of all, because people lose their job. That's terrible in and of itself. But to see people using their opinions of their work as a justification of why they deserve to lose their income is fucking wild. And the most frustrating thing about it is that Saints Row did okay. There's conflicting reports, of course, but according to somebody who worked at the studio, it was doing okay. It didn't perform as well as Embracer Group wanted, but I think that we've established that they're not a very fucking trustworthy source at this point. This franchise has been going on for as long as some of you have been alive, and it's just gone, just done within 24 hours, not even mentioning the other games that they've ever made, like Red Faction or the Summoner series. I'm gonna be honest, I had to look that one up. They developed the Punisher game, that's insane. The studio just celebrated its 30-year anniversary in June. To see all of that hard work be maliciously, in my opinion, wiped away on the 31st of the month so that the employees no longer have their insurance for September is absolutely evil. There's no other way to say it. There's no sugarcoating or cute way I can put that. It's fucking evil. There are certain companies that I just don't trust with the track record that they had. I just don't put any sort of stake in them at all. EA is one of them, Activision's one of them, Ubisoft is also one of them, and I guess now Embracer Group gets added to that list, because this wasn't the first, and I don't think it's going to be the last. The more time that goes on, the more involved I get with this medium, the more developers just fall apart. Not due to some sort of lack of quality or some sort of malintent in their work, but simply due to financial irresponsibility. There is no way you can look at what happened here and blame Volition. 200 people's jobs gone in the blink of an eye. And your knee-jerk response is to blame all of that on a game that you didn't like? You're fucking crazy. I think that this also breaks the preconceived notions people may have around quote unquote making it in creative fields. There's been this sort of narrative around creating digital art or any sort of job online, really, that it could all go away at any point. I promise, just go to any artist or YouTube's catalog of videos or posts, and at some point they'll make it very clear that this can all go away in the blink of an eye. And yet, the more time that passes post-pandemic, people are starting to realize that that's the case for everybody. It does not matter what field you're in or whether your job is in person or at home. Unless you're above a certain pay grade, frankly, you're expendable, at least in the eyes of the people who cut your checks. Like, even on just a smaller scale, there's so many stories of employees just getting fucked over by their jobs. Like, people putting in their 2-week notice just to be fired on the spot. And as somebody who worked a lot of jobs during the pandemic, I've seen this firsthand as well. And a situation like this makes it all the more frustrating when you see people who put so much work into a franchise and into a company that's been through hell, and their work, their blood, sweat, and tears is summarized as bad game, or somehow it's their fault that the studio gets closed. It makes a vessel in my brain just cripple itself. If what you got from this video, that if you don't like Saints Row Reboot, you're a bad person, I don't think you've been listening. It's never a good thing to see people lose their jobs. It's never a good thing to see potential squandered. And it's never a good thing, in my opinion, to see the corporate side of art have a bigger say than the creatives behind that art. It's an even worse day when this happens, not due to some happenstance, but because today's bottom dollar is more important than tomorrow's potential. I don't know, this whole thing just really struck a chord with me. There's no happy ending I can put on this. I wish the employees well. I hope they're able to make some sort of indie development studio and are able to make their own projects. Fuck Embracer. Be understanding and kind when people lose their jobs. Regardless of what you think about their work, your opinion of their work shouldn't even be brought up as a topic in the conversation, in my opinion. But yeah, I guess that's all I got. I'm gonna go back to work and talk about more happier things, like PlayStation 3 games. I can't wait. Actually, I very much can.
You alright?
The king's pain is your gain.
He's good.
Pocket Bike Racer, one of 3 new Xbox games, rated E for everyone. Make it a gift for $3.99 when you buy any value meal, only at BK.